Welcome to the round table. I am Jennifer Eller, and with me today is my partners in crime with the podcast and sometimes in life in general. Mike Hill and our producer, Nick Wilson. And then our guest today is Barry Moser. Hello, Barry.
Hello.
Welcome. Okay, Barry, so do you read books, watch movies, binge watch TV?
Oh, lately I've been watching a lot of fitness videos on YouTube.
Really?
Yes.
Do you follow someone in particular?
Nick Wilson?
Yeah. No, a lot of calisthenic stuff, body weight stuff.
Okay.
So.
And you watch it just because it's like inspiring?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Huh.
I like watching. You get some of these guys, I mean, they make their bodies look like they're nothing and they can float through air and they make it look like almost easy. And then you go and try it and you go like.
And you think it's not real.
Yeah, and then you go and try it and you're like, man, I'm weak and old.
It's an illusion. They're magicians.
I think it is. I think they just painted all those six packs on there.
Yeah.
Ain't no way that's.
You can do that with makeup.
Huh?
You know,
Paint a
makeup.
six-pack
Yeah,
on?
like
Yeah.
contouring and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it I know I'll never be able to achieve. I had rotator cuff surgery a couple of years ago, so. And then I'm old and I'm tall, so a lot of it is difficult to do when you're tall. But
No, I know. You get ripped off. Those
Yeah.
short arm people, they can do a lot to us.
yeah, I mean, it's leverage, and you know,
Yeah.
you get an extra pound worth of foot hanging off of you.
That's what I'm going to blame it on, too.
Yeah,
I got too long a wingspan.
There you
That's
go.
my problem.
Yeah.
I could bench way more and do way more if I didn't have a longer wingspan.
and I tore my rotator cuff doing a push-up, so I mean,
Really?
it was a roll-out push-up, which is kind of like a one-handed push-up.
Okay.
Your one arm goes out on a ball, and you're going down. And, well, I went down a little bit further one time and drove up, and, well,
This is something Ricardo had you do?
yeah.
Yeah. Instead of just normal push-ups like normal people.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can't
you just
just,
can't
you know-
do anything that's normal. You got to
Right.
do something that's
Right.
like made for Superman and
Yeah.
tear your muscles.
And so, yeah, I'm kind of, a little bit leery about having that happen again.
Yeah, I know that.
I came back pretty good. I got good range of motion out of my arm, and that a lot of people after that surgery don't have, and getting strength back. But
So your binge watching is YouTube fitness
pretty much,
TV.
yeah.
Wow.
Really exciting, huh?
Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I have to start binge watching more.
You'll get
fitness
inspired.
videos.
We'll get
Yeah.
inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, like, what are some of your hobbies? I know you love to work out. We just
Right.
talked about that. Is there anything else you like to do?
Right now, it's just hobby in church or working out in church, and that's about it.
How often are you working out?
Upwards of 5 days a week.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, what is it? 2 of the days are what's called zone 2, which is probably your type of a workout, Mike. It's really low intensity.
Wow. Get the jabs in. Get the jabs in.
It's
He
for a
works
long.
pretty hard out there, though, so don't.
Yeah, he looked good at DECA. He looked really good at DECA. I gotta admit. But you're going for a long period of time, like an hour and a half, and you're just
In
yeah,
zone
you're,
two.
yeah, in zone 2, which
Okay.
is your heart rate's at 65 to 70%, maybe 71, 72%, but
Which is,
about 120, 130
okay.
for a heart rate.
That's 65 or 70% is 120, 130.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't know that. And then on the other days.
and
your
then you
heart
have
rate's
have one day
190.
of what they call 3.5, zone 3.5, which is upper 70%, lower 80%, which would get you up to around 140. And then you have 2 days of high intensity, getting into the upper 80s and low 90%.
So how do you determine what's 100%?
when you feel about like you're dying.
No, I know, but I'm trying to decide. Like,
I'd be at that
is your
60.
heart rate thing different for like is 160 heart rate for old guy, and then it's 170 for a younger guy, or like where's the top?
Your max heart rate should be 220 minus your age.
220 minus 50 is
51. You're 51.
okay. Make it easy math. 220 minus 50.
170.
It's
169.
170.
Be 169.
Yeah, that's about right. I can't get it much higher than that. 170. I feel like I'm.
And times I max out at like 186. I'm 58. I'll be 59 here in a couple months.
And that just means your heart's better than mine?
No, it just means that I'm stupid sometimes.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
The fact that I'll actually push myself that hard is,
To get it up that high.
yeah.
Okay.
When you got somebody standing over you, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
How bad you want it? Come on.
Yeah, that's why you work out alone.
Yeah.
You don't have any of those people.
Nope.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in history or forward to the future, where would you go?
If I could go back in history or forward into the future, where would I go? As far as
Would you go
time
forward or would you
period?
go back?
Oh,
I mean, just for fun. Like, if you're going to go back and you wanted to meet somebody in history, you wanted to go
I don't know.
forward.
The 70s and 80s were like the best times to grow up.
The 70s and 80s?
Yeah.
How come?
You had cool cars.
Did you have a cool car?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you have?
I had a 69 Camaro Z.
Okay. You still have it?
No.
Do you wish you did?
No.
Why not?
It was cool to have, but at the same time, it was a lot of work. I understand why. And the people who restore them with technology, I feel isn't restoring a car.
Oh, you mean make it so they actually have real brakes and a
Yeah,
fuel-injected
yeah,
motor
yeah,
that actually starts
yeah.
whenever you want to start it?
Yeah.
You mean that thing?
Yeah. I mean, I get the reason for wanting it, but to be a restored car, I mean, you did your Chevelle.
It did. But it didn't. I mean, it still had the old stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Right. Because back in our day, that's what you had. You had Holley carburetors and crane cams and
Yep.
hooker headers and
That's right.
Kragers and
Hooker headers?
Hooker headers.
hooker headers.
And you had
That's the
dual
brand name.
exhaust with
Yeah.
glass packs on it. So you
Yeah,
could
or turbos,
have
either
a
one.
nice,
Yeah.
loud
Yeah.
back in the day, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
You didn't tub it, you lifted
was
it
born
up,
that
and
time
you had.
period.
No, I know. Didn't Eric have something like that?
No, when I met him, he had an S10 truck.
Eric. He's the guy now that drives around all the big stuff.
Yeah. But I do drive a slingshot.
A who?
A slingshot.
That's a car?
Well, it's a three-wheeled side-by-side motorcycle.
That's what you drive right now?
Not on a daily basis, but that's what my toy is. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They kind of look like the Batmobile.
I'm trying to decide if your vehicle says something about you.
It says that I'm old.
Huh?
Said, oh boy.
Mine says it's paid off. So don't buy anything else.
Nick, what's yours say about you? What do you drive?
I've got Heather's old Kia Sorento. It's not a bad car, but it's when we had all that hail,
Yeah?
we got it totaled because all of the hail damage.
Yeah.
So I'm just riding around with a bunch of dimples in my car.
Oh, you can't tell it.
What does that say about me?
So it looks like a golf ball.
Yeah. Yep.
I would say it means you're smart. Take the money and keep the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
We'll
long
go
as,
with that.
Yeah.
as long as you can get from point A to point B.
Yep.
That's what they're for.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
No, my daily driver is a Ford Escape.
Okay.
Reliable mom's grocery getter, you know.
Yeah. You want to ride around in a mom's grocery getter?
Yeah. I do like it, surprisingly.
I just didn't know if there was something inside of you like that. If you could drive anything and money didn't matter, what would you drive?
Definitely something European.
What? Why? Aren't you an American?
Yeah, but
Huh?
my boss has an Audi that's twin turbo V8 at 560 horsepower out of the factory, all-wheel drive. I mean, this thing hooks up. I have never had my chest thumped back into me so hard.
And just so you know, a Tesla would beat it. So maybe you could
Maybe
get
up to about 80 or 90.
you could get an American-made Tesla.
No,
Huh?
no, I'm not an electric car guy.
Okay. We won't get off on the car subject.
So I think your relationship with Jesus started later in life, correct? Or did
Yes.
you grow up in a church? Did you
No,
have experience? No, nothing.
no. Parents didn't guide me towards Christ at all.
Are you from around here?
Originally from Chicagoland,
Okay.
and moved down where I'm at now, Whitley County in '95.
Does that mean you're a Bears fan? Or a Cubs fan?
If I watched sports, I would be a Bears and a Cubs fan.
Okay. But you don't watch any.
I don't watch sports. I did watch the Bears Super Bowl season, and got up and watched every Sunday religiously and all of that.
And then you just gave
The
up
Black
on
and
it.
Blues, after McCaskey bought it, after Hallis died and McCaskey took over, it was just not the same.
Yeah. So growing up in Chicago, you guys never went to church at all?
No. Went to Awanas a little bit as a kid. But yeah, no, never had any guidance towards it.
Oh, you have brothers and sisters?
Had a brother.
Okay.
So was your childhood pretty normal? Were you a crazy kid? Teenage years?
I think I was a pretty good kid, surprisingly. My stepdad was kind of like Hitler, though. So, no, I'm for real. He used to study Hitler movies.
Wow. How old were you when your mom married him?
He came into my life in second grade.
I mean, you're being serious? The guy he acted like Hitler?
He studied Hitler movies.
That's kind of weird.
Well,
Right? Like the guy liked Hitler?
yeah,
Or he just liked the
just
way-
like the control that Hitler had,
Oh, got it.
and tried to figure out how did somebody get this control over
Did it
people.
work? Do you have good control over you?
You learn how not to get yelled at.
So were you a liar? Did you lie?
No, not so much lie. I mean, I did, yeah, you can go out and smoke cigarettes and you don't tell your parents that you're going out smoking cigarettes
Yeah.
and things like that, but
So you had a pretty mild childhood. You didn't grow up in the doing nutty things and
no, correct.
So you'd said that weed and alcohol and stuff came into your life. So when did that start? What brought that on?
Oh, gosh. Well, back in the 70s, you had junior high. You didn't have middle school. So it would have been the 6th, 7th grade era.
So did you have a friend that introduced you
Oh,
to
yeah.
this? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you started smoking pot in the 7th grade, but you didn't have a crazy childhood? I mean, trying to put 2 and 2 together here.
He's in denial.
It's
They were just smoking weed wasn't that big of a deal.
It was, but I didn't go out and get kind of wild and crazy with it. I mean, we just kind of... It wasn't advertised. I was kind of a clean-cut kid.
Right, you just smoked weed and ate Cheetos.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a thing. I mean, you smoke pot, you get the munchies.
And so
You ever
Cheetos is
smoked
the
pot
food
before?
of choice. No,
Well, I
I've
don't-
never have.
Huh?
No, I've never smoked anything.
You never smoked a cigarette?
Nope.
You never...
Nope, never.
Nick, have you ever smoked pot?
I haven't.
I don't know.
I don't know that Cheetos. I'm just thinking
Just-
munchies,
I
right?
just thought
yeah.
that was funny.
Was that still the thing back then? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you get the munchies. You just
You had the
kinda sit
munchies
around
and it was chips and cereal and Cheetos and whatever.
and watch Pink Floyd The Wall.
Yeah.
No. Have you ever seen the movie
Listen to Pink
The
Floyd,
Wall?
The Wall, yeah.
No, I haven't.
Do you like Pink Floyd?
Probably. I don't know what they sing, but I probably do.
You don't know what they sing?
don't know.
Oh, it's, yeah.
I probably know a few songs.
Yeah, you
but
would know if they came on.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you're smoking pot in middle school. Kind of take us through like your middle school, high school.
I tried to get good grades. And did get pretty good grades for somebody who didn't do homework very often.
Like, were you aiming to be something? Did you want to go to college? Like what was exciting you in high school back then? Did you have a girlfriend? Did you want to get married?
No, I didn't have any girlfriends, and not until late in high school. Was restoring my car, so that took up a couple of years of time and money. Worked from, when I was in third grade, I had a couple of newspaper routes and worked off and on until I was 15. And then from 15 on, I've been unemployed for 2 weeks. So,
Yeah. So no thought of like college was never something you wanted to do?
it wasn't. I knew I wanted to get out of the house. And then any kind of structure after being with Hitler just wasn't going to happen. So if I was out and I had to, unless I had a stringent schedule or something like that, it wasn't going to happen.
You mean going to college?
As far as
Wasn't gonna
going to
happen.
college,
Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I knew that wasn't, it wasn't that I didn't have the intellect for it. It was just that I'd been under somebody's thumb for too long.
Right. So you just needed to get out. And
Yeah.
So you graduate high school and then you go right to work?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in maintenance now. Were you a maintenance guy then?
I was in auto repair then.
Okay.
Did that until I was 18 or 19, and then knew a guy who had a small business, and that he sold fasteners, and for whatever reason I got into selling fasteners for about 8 years. And then through selling fasteners, I'm not a salesperson either. And so through that, and then a lot of our customers were industrial maintenance shops and truck garages and things like that. And I'm like, hey, this industrial maintenance thing, that looks pretty cool.
So this is all while you're up in Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
then what brings you down here? Like, how'd you end up in here?
My dad grew up on the farm that I live on. Is how I found out about Whitley County. And was going through my first divorce in the mid-'90s.
Well, let's go back. When did the wife come into the picture? Like, when did you end up getting married? How did you meet her?
We met through friends.
Right out of high school? Like
Pretty much right out of high school. It's like we graduated in June, so the following winter, January, February was when we met.
Okay.
And ended up getting married. And then that didn't work out. And I'm going through this divorce.
Did
and
it
I'm
just
thinking,
not work out because it just wasn't made to be? It didn't work out because...
she claimed I smoked too much weed.
Oh, that might be a little problem, but...
So how many years were you married?
We got married in 86 and got divorced they're separated in 94.
Okay, 8 years.
8 years.
Did you have any children?
No.
Any kids? No.
No, she didn't want any kids. And I was going through this divorce, and I'm thinking, man, I really dislike Chicago.
Dislike Chicago?
Dislike Chicago.
Okay.
And I really like it down on the farm. So This is back pre-internet days. And, yeah, there was a time when we didn't have internet to find jobs across the country.
Right.
And so subscribed to Fort Wayne papers and Warsaw papers because Columbia City's in the middle of that. And everybody looking for, and I only had 2 years of experience at that time in industrial maintenance. So I mean, it took me about a year of sending off resumes before finally Aunt Millie's called me up and says, hey, you want to come in for an interview?
And so you're going through the divorce, and then you said your dad had a farm in Columbia City?
He grew up on a farm that I live on. Yeah.
Oh, got it. So this was your real dad, your stepdad?
My real dad.
Your real dad.
Yep.
And how'd you know that? Like, you still in contact with him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you still had a good relationship?
Yeah, yeah. Dad was always in the picture.
Okay.
Until I was a teen and 15 and working all the week on weekends and everything and couldn't go out to see him. But
Right.
otherwise, he was there when he'd pick up my brother and drop my brother off. I'd always go out and yak at him in the driveway and all.
And so then you found out this house was available how?
Well, ended up the house I live in, my great grandfather built.
That's amazing.
And my uncle was running it. My uncle owned it at the time, and he was running it out.
So then you get out of Chicago, you go to Columbia City, get a job at Aunt Millie's. Is it like a start over period for you, or like?
Pretty much.
I mean, how are you feeling right now? Are you excited to be out of Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
Life's going.
Life I thought was going pretty good, which it was. Other than that, I was by myself, but it was going pretty good.
I mean, did you feel like anything was like missing in your life or anything during that time, or you had other things that just kind of like filled you?
I always felt lost, yeah.
In what way?
Just empty and wondering why I was by myself all the time, and always would just bury myself into work, so didn't have a whole lot to really talk about because you're working all the time.
Right. Right. So from a social standpoint, felt lost, or
Yeah.
just from an emotional.
An emotional standpoint also, yeah.
Yeah. Did it get worse when you moved here? Or better?
About the same. That time I was smoking quite a bit, so.
So, I mean, it's just go to work, come home, smoke, go to
Yep.
bed, get up.
Yeah, work a lot of hours, work a lot of overtime, which doesn't help an addictive personality any, but,
Right. Yeah.
or dependency personality, however you want to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
however you want to call
You'd
it.
even shared that you had like anger issues, and I mean, is that something that you always struggled with being?
Yeah, I was
angry,
always
or
kind of
did
short fused. Like him from being raised by Hitler, you really weren't allowed to have an opinion, so.
So I'm assuming that just continued to carry
Yeah.
on in your adult life, and was
Yeah.
it hard for her to have relationships then? If anger
Yeah, it still
came
is
out a
because
lot?
it just the communication part is difficult.
And so now that
You know what's bothering you? Well, a lot of things are bothering me. I can't really pinpoint it. There's things bothering me.
Right. Yeah, so I'm assuming you're at this place where you're searching and things aren't going right. Like, what's the breakthrough? Like, what happened that was finally the breaking point that would say, okay, enough's enough. I need to do something different. I won't say what pulled you out of the pit, but, I mean, it kind of sounds like you're in this, like, rut of
Well, I
doing life.
yeah, I finally got tired of being really lonely all the time, so I ended up in, when was it? Like 97, 98, quit smoking weed, quit drinking. Met my second wife. then after being married, while we were dating, things were pretty good. Once got married, then she said it was my rules. My rules didn't change, just they didn't want to follow them anymore. And, well, now we're married, so she could voice that a little bit more. And that just weren't, our views on life were just opposites of each other. Had get complimented on the kids, so therefore, well, they could do whatever they wanted. They had no rules. They had no, and tried to impose bedtimes. Oh my God, that was like,
Because she had kids.
dude, yeah, she had 2 kids.
Were they
Yeah,
younger? I assume
yeah,
they were younger?
They were 7 and 9 when we met, and had no rules. I mean, like I said, no bedtime, no nothing, no manners, no rules.
And you wanted to bring structure.
And I wanted to bring structure, and that just didn't work too well.
So how
And
long?
it was my fault that, I was the one that was wrong. So
Right. And how long were you married then?
how we lasted for 9 years, I
Oh
don't
gosh.
know. I know how
I was thinking you were going to say
6
I only
months.
went on for a couple years.
Yeah,
9 years.
It should have ended a whole lot sooner, but I worked through 23 years at Aunt Millie's. 14 of those years was on midnight shift, and then 6 of those years were on second shift. So,
You could just
and the whole
avoid it.
time that we were married, I was on midnights, and I slept before I went to work. I wasn't one of these people who works midnights and could come home and sleep at 10 o'clock in the morning and get more than 2 hours worth of sleep. So to save my sanity, I slept in the evening, and then started drinking again pretty heavy. No, what was it? Got married in 01, so 02, 03, started drinking really heavy.
But you were just
then-
obviously able to keep functioning.
Yeah, I was a hard worker, so I was, a functional drunk.
Yeah. So then after you get the divorce, so now 9 years and you're
Right.
back to drinking again, things
Yeah.
aren't good. You get a divorce,
And,
and then you're like,
yeah,
okay, this is it.
well, met someone on a bar stool, which is a really bad way to meet somebody.
Okay.
Surprise, all they ever want to do is go out and sit on a bar stool.
Yeah. Meaning the wife that you were married to for 9 years? Or?
No, I met somebody while I was going
Oh.
through my divorce
Or
on a
then
bar
you met
stool.
somebody else on the
Yeah.
at a bar.
Yeah, we didn't get married, but we were together for 7 years.
Oh my gosh.
Well, how was that one? Better?
Somewhat.
She have kids?
Yeah, they were older.
Okay.
She was 7 years older than me, and and she had kids when she was young, so her kids were older. So they were in the picture, but they weren't in the picture.
Okay. So you stopped drinking? Are drinking?
I'm still drinking at this point. Yeah,
Okay.
not quite as much as what I was, but on a daily basis.
So then when you broke up with her, what year was it then?
It was right before
18?
the bakery closed, so 17.
17. Okay. So did you find Jesus right after that?
No, I didn't find Jesus until a couple of years ago,
Okay.
because I continued to drink, and somewhere in there I got back into smoking, and continued to drink and smoke till I joined the gym. Then I quit drinking, but I still was smoking, because there's no way in the world I could do a journey workout with a hangover.
And again, how did you get hooked up at Journey? Like, what? You get a flyer in the mail?
no,
Ricardo
I,
see you somewhere?
My doctor told me that I should, my diet and exercise needed to change. At that point, I quit smoking cigarettes in 19, and I still felt bad. And I asked her to send me to a cardiologist because heart disease runs in my family and ancestry. And she says, you don't need a cardiologist. She says, you just need to get your diet and exercise in line. And we've got a couple of gyms in Columbia City, and really none of them was floating my boat. And I'm sitting there looking at Facebook one day, and across my feed comes an ad for Journey. And this must have first been the Holy Spirit talking to me and saying, call him. So, I mean, everything happens for a reason, right?
Right.
Everybody crosses our paths for a reason. Everybody comes into our lives for a reason. And so without hesitation, I call him and set up an appointment, go and see him. And I walked into the gym, and they've got resistance bands and kettlebells and dumbbells, and that's like the only equipment that's in the place. And I'm thinking, hey, this looks like something that just might work for me. And did a class, and that was when I got like doing the body weight stuff, and the rest is, and that was in the end of September of, it's just 21 was when I joined.
And so that just started like this transformation of, your body, your heart.
Within the first few months of being there, my cholesterol and triglycerides dropped by 90 points apiece.
Wow.
It went from 200 pounds down to 180. Went from 27% body fat down to 20% body fat. I was feeling good. I was looking good. And figured I'd continue on. I was single then. I'm single now, and just figured got to be addicted to something. I may as well be
addicted to
something that's constructive instead of destructive.
So how did the spiritual aspect kick in? Like, because you listened to all of I didn't hear one thing about like, hey, we were in and out of the church, or we were like, I don't hear any of that in any of your, maybe it was.
No, never. I said throughout childhood, until I joined Life, I wasn't in church
at all.
At all. I might have gone a couple of weeks here and a couple of weeks there. But
right.
Nothing to where it was like where I'm attending service on a weekly basis, either in person or online.
No, for sure. But I mean, and really had no interest. Did you have anything against the church? Or against God?
Yeah, I had against organized religion.
Okay.
Anybody that I knew who was in organized religion, I wasn't happy with how they were living. It was an upfront, and then when you got behind the scenes, it was something different.
Organized religion meaning somebody goes to church.
Right.
Okay.
And we're out on a gym event that was not related to the gym. We were up at Pokagon going tobogganing one New Year's Day. This was New Year's Day of 23. And I was yakking with Ricardo, and he says he must have known that I was somewhat lost. And he says you're getting your physical well-being, physical self in order. He says, is there anything else you're looking for? And I says, well, I'm opposed to organized religion. I says, but I wouldn't mind finding a private Bible study somewhere and learning more about the Bible. And he says, well, why is that? I says, well, I keep seeing all the stuff that God's being taken out of and how it's all falling apart. I says, maybe I ought to put God into my life and see what can happen. And I didn't know that he was a minister or anything like that at the time. And he says, well, I can help you with that. And so we met a couple of times at the gym on a Saturday night, and at this time the gym's we're just coming out of COVID. The gym's barely making it. He's working 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, and he's finding time to meet with me on a Saturday night with toothpicks in his eyes.
Right.
And he says, would you mind going to church with me one day? And I'm thinking, you can do this for me. I can take an hour out of my Sunday. What's it going to hurt?
Right.
And it was, I liked Life Church from pulling up. It doesn't look like a church. You walk inside, it doesn't feel like a church. The message is there, don't get me wrong. You do a great job at preaching the message. But it's not being shoved down your throat.
Right.
And it's presented in a manner that apparently I'm not the only one that likes it, by the way that the church is growing.
Yeah. So what do you think has been some of the biggest shifts? So obviously physically you're in shape, you're doing well. What about spiritually and emotionally? Like, what has been some of those biggest shifts, and has the spiritual aspect helped with the emotional aspect?
That's where I have a hard time trying to convey. I can feel that I'm in a better spot. I'm a lot more peace. I used to be angry all the time. I'm not angry all the time anymore. Do I get annoyed? Sure, everybody gets annoyed.
Right.
Do things tick me off? Sure, things tick me off, but I don't want to go and I'm not filled with this rage where I want to go and go postal on somebody.
Right. Right.
And I like, lack of a better term, of a roid rage.
And so you're thinking that all of that has been a part of.
It's been between. I put my fitness and faith kind of all in one category because Journey is a faith-based gym.
Right.
So you have your consistency there, and you have your consistency on your physical part of your nutrition and your exercise.
Right.
And then you have the consistency with having your faith there as well. And if you slack on either, you start backsliding rather quickly.
Right.
So you have accountability, both on the fitness side of it and on the spiritual side of it.
Right.
Well, and I think you'd say your spiritual side is growing because you're going on a mission trip coming up. So how did that happen? Like, how did God lead you to take that step?
Well, again, Ricardo says, you're really coming along well in your faith. He says, next thing you need to do is go on a mission trip. I'm like, yeah, right. Dude, I just quit smoking again. No, don't get me going back there. And so he planted the seed, and I'm thinking about it. And normally I work out at the 4:20 a.m. class at the gym. And for whatever reason, one Friday, a while back, I went to 9 o'clock class on Fridays at the gym. And something happened with work or something, and I couldn't make it to the 4:20 class or didn't want to make it to the 4:20 class. So I went to the 9 o'clock class. And a woman comes walking in that I've never seen before, and she notices me, I notice her, and we're working out and not much saying very much. And after class, we, introduced ourselves, and she said fitness and Jesus. And I said, well, for sure, and both of those. And come to find out that she's with an organization called Overland Missions. And she lives in England and was over here trying to sow into her ministry to go down to Brazil for a period of time. I forget she's going to be down there for a while, so she needs money coming in on a regular basis, so she's looking for sponsors. And over here doing that. And so we just made it kind of a quick introduction the first time we were there, and then I went there the following week. I went there at 9 o'clock also, and we exchanged contact information. And she's talking about Brazil, and I'm thinking, Brazil sounds pretty cool. And so she's talking to me about that. She says, I don't think, the Brazil trip, the 2-week trip to Brazil was full already. And so they've got, Overland also has missions to Africa, several countries in Africa, and Cambodia, and Southern Asia somewhere. Wasn't Korea, it wasn't Vietnam. I don't remember what the other country was. It wasn't the Philippines, but somewhere in Southern Asia. And so I'm like, all right, where in the world geographically do I want to go where I'm not going to be in the middle of a political riot? I'm not going to be persecuted for being a Christian.
Yeah.
Somewhere that's relatively safe, and for my well-being part of it. And so I was talking to a friend of mine, and she says, Cambodia is probably your best bet out of all of the options that you've got. And I'm still thinking that, Cambodia, I'm going to be in a jungle, man.
Right.
And they want to go in May. If I go to Cambodia, I want to go in December.
Right.
But, okay. This is to push me out of my comfort zone.
So that's where you're going, Cambodia.
Yeah, Cambodia.
What are you guys going to do while you're there?
We are going to spread the word of Christianity.
Okay.
Do you have any projects you get to work on? I mean, no?
No, because that's what everybody says. Oh, Barry, you'd be great going down and helping build a church, helping build a building, whatever. Because that's right up, that's my comfort zone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So now you're going to be a preacher.
So now I'm going to be a preacher.
Like a door-to-door one?
Yes.
Go to door-to-door. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's really pushing me up because everybody that's in our group is, I've got a youth minister. I've got people who have been following Christ their entire lives. And you got me who can barely remember what he read can barely remember what Bible study was with Rob Hollinger on Sunday night,
Yeah.
And you want me to go and help try and convert people to Christianity.
Yeah,
well,
but
you have a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But God will tell you what to say, and you will do it well. So.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
hope
so we're getting close to the end. So
Okay.
give us what are some of the things that so you go your entire life, without Christ. Now it's like, things are going well for you,
Right.
So you're physically good, mentally good, spiritually good. You're going on a mission trip. What are some of the things that have helped keep you on track, right? Because one of the things you see a lot of times is people give their life to Christ and it's super good, and then it just kind of goes. And what are some things? Is it your small group? Is it your people holding you accountable? Is it your gym? What are the things that are keeping you motivated to continue to not only be better physically and mentally, but also spiritually?
D, all of the above.
Okay. Meaning the gym and
Yep.
okay. And your small group,
Yep.
all of those are helping you on that process.
Yep.
So if you could give any words of wisdom to anybody that is out there that's trying to, that are kind of like you, they're kind of out there, I don't say lost, but
Right.
maybe just trying to figure things out, what advice would you give them to help move them in the right direction?
I've shared some of our services that are online that are shareable. Believe it or not, I have had people tell me that they don't like you.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
It might have been the original design series that I shared with the woman, but
Yeah.
because you hit it hard on both sides. You hit it hard, but it is what it is.
It is somewhat controversial.
Right. And when I describe you, I say, he believes that society ought to conform to the Bible, not the opposite way.
Right.
Or that, the church shouldn't conform to society. It ought to still be preaching the Bible.
Right.
And that's your consistent message throughout.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't water it down.
Right.
We should probably just say what it says.
Yeah.
And then figure it out from there. Yeah. Okay, so any parting words of wisdom to anybody other than stay in shape, eat a lot of meat?
And fat. He said fat
And
earlier.
fat.
Eat
Well,
fat
fat.
and meat.
Natural fats. Natural fats, not your processed fats. Stay away from processed foods, period.
Period. No more chips.
No more chips.
No Doritos.
No Doritos. Nothing done in vegetable oil. Nothing done in any type of a seed oil.
Can you eat almonds?
Yes.
Like the smokehouse
Yeah.
almonds?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I eat those by the handful
Oh. man,
all day
I love
long.
those
I'm
things.
forever munching on those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that-
those
that-
aren't bad for you?
No.
Okay.
They probably are in the quantity that I'm eating them, but
Yeah. Yeah.
even peanut butter, I got to kind of stay away from the peanut butter some because
Because peanut butter ain't good for you?
they add sugar to it, and try to stay away from the added sugars. And
Yeah, you look at like the all natural peanut butter, that stuff looks like crap.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I don't
I
know
can't,
who
I
eats
mean,
that stuff.
Well, you got to mix it up. Do you mix it up?
I don't eat it. I'm like, I look at that thing, I'm like, what? In the
I mean, I
freaking
love my
world?
Jif, don't get me wrong, but I've got to eat it and then take a break from it. Eat it and take a break from it.
Yeah, I know. I look at that stuff and like that much water on the top of it.
It's oil.
It's oil. You have to
Oil,
mix
whatever
it.
it
You have to
is,
mix it up.
Yeah.
Looks disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm staying with the Jif crunchy peanut butter.
There you go.
Yeah, but you just like scoop it out, squirt some jelly on top of it.
No jelly. Either celery or apples is
What
I
about
eat my-
honey? Can I put honey on top of it?
No, you can't put
Oh
honey
my
on top
gosh,
of it either.
seriously. Okay.
I do peanut butter and chocolate chips and eat an apple, and I feel like I'm healthy because I ate the apple. But you don't
it's
see
so the chocolate
But you
chips
don't
in
see the
there.
amount of little mini chocolate chips that are with it. But
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yep. Along with my cholesterol and triglycerides dropping, before I joined the gym, my doctor had me go to and take a heart scan through Parkview, and I had a 96% chance of having a heart attack or a stroke in the next 10 years. Within less than 6 months of being at the gym of my no processed food, I have less than a 4% chance of having a heart
Wow.
attack or a stroke in the next 10 years.
Wow.
Diet.
Well, there you go. Work out.
Yeah. And figure out your diet.
Yep.
No processed food, no preservatives.
Yep.
Okay. We got a lot of work to do. Well, Barry, I think it's like you said, it would be cool to hear when you get back from your mission trip, like how it went and like, because I always think when you leave like that perspective, you know, it's always a huge perspective shift. Like I think it's easy to say, oh, we know what it's like overseas, but until you're overseas and
Yep.
God has a tendency to talk.
Oh, this is a whole new culture for me.
yeah, talk louder.
Yeah.
It seems like when we're in those things. So it'll be interesting to hear what God has to say or how he speaks to you while you're there and, you know, what things are going on. So when this comes out, make sure that you like, share, or comment because we'll put this out on Facebook. And so if people see it, make sure you like, share, or comment so we can get Barry's story out to as many people as possible. And that if you want to go on our YouTube, you know, you can comment on there. If you're listening, make sure you watch so you can see who Barry is. That way, if you come up, do you come to first service, second service?
If I come to a service, it's first service. Yeah.
Okay, but you do a lot of online.
I do a lot of online.
Okay, yeah. So if you're online, do you like check in? Do people?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're in the chat.
Yeah.
Do
I don't
chat?
check in. I don't do the chat. No, but I do check in every week.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, anyway, so
That way, Ray Ann knows that I'm still with her. So.
yeah, Barry. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story, and we're just
Thanks for
we'll be
having
praying
me.
for you for you know what God has for you in the future. So thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.